بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اليوم يا شباب في كورس البروجكت مانجمنت بنشرح شابتر جديد، هو شابتر 4 عنوانه Defining Scope, Quality, Responsibility and Activity Sequence. معاكم دكتور محمد مصطفى محمود حسن. الشابتر كونسبتس، في هذا الشابتر بنناقش البروجكت سكوب ستيتمنت، بنناقش الكواليتي بلاننج، بنناقش البروسيس اوف identifying the activities that must be performed, determining who will be responsible for them, and establishing the sequence in which they will be carried out. الشابتر ده كمان describes the techniques and tools used to plan work elements and activities required to successfully achieve the project objectives. أول حاجة عندنا هي project scope defines the work that must be performed and the deliverables that must be produced. Subsequently, specific activities are identified and arranged in a sequence of dependent relationships to determine how the work will be executed. الشابتر ده هيساعد الطلبة او هيساعدكم بالاحرى ان انتوا تتعلموا how to clearly define the project objective. تاني حاجة prepare the project scope statement. تالت حاجة understand the importance of quality planning. رابع حاجة develop a work breakdown structure WBS. خامس حاجة assign responsibility to work elements. سادس حاجة identify specific project activities. وأخيرا سابع حاجة construct a project network diagram. دي المفاهيم المفروض ان احنا نتعلمها داخل هذا الشابتر. learning objectives. بعد ما after studying this chapter, students should be able to يبقوا قادرين او انتوا قادرين على الاتي. اول حاجة formulate a clear project objective. تاني حاجة prepare a project scope statement. تالت حاجة discuss the importance and components of the project quality plan. رابع حاجة develop a work breakdown structure WS. خامس حاجة prepare a responsibility assignment matrix RAM. سادس حاجة describe how to identify specific project activities. سابع حاجة وأخيرا construct a project network diagram. دي الأهداف التعليمية الخاصة بهذا الشابتر. هذا الشابتر والبروجكت مانجمنت نوليدج ارياس من البين بوك بيغطي بعض المفاهيم الخاصة بهذا الجايد اللي هو البادي اوف نوليدج اللي عاملاه واللي عامله او نشره البروجكت مانجمنت انستيتوت. اول حاجة بيغطي الاتي: بروجكت انتجريشن مانجمنت، بروجكت سكوب مانجمنت، بروجكت كواليتي مانجمنت، بروجكت ريسورس مانجمنت، بروجكت سكوب مانجمنت. الخمس حاجات دول. طيب نبتدي اول نقطة عندنا في هذا الشابتر اللي هو how to defining or establish the project objective. عملية البلاننج process is based on the project objectives which defines what must be accomplished. The project objective is often stated in the project charter or in a request for proposal. الاختصار بتاعها RFB. ال project objective represents the tangible final deliverable that the project team or contractor must produce and deliver so that the sponsor or client can realize the expected benefits of implementing the project. The project objective should include the following elements. زي The expected benefits resulting from the implementation of the project and the criteria for determining success. The primary final deliverable or output of the project. The required completion date for the project. وأخيرا the budget within which the project must be completed. في بعض الحالات situations may arise during project execution that require modifying the project objectives or objective as the project progresses. نتيجة إيه بقى؟ due to changing circumstances or newly available information. All changes to the project objective must be agreed upon by both the project manager and the client. Such changes may be affect the remaining scope of the work, deliverables, completion date, and final project cost. طيب تعالى ناخد بعض الاكزامبلز على البروجكت اوبجكتيفز بتتكتب ازاي. من ضمن الامثله اللي هنقولها في اكتر من مثال هنقوله، يمكن 3 امثله. Some examples of project objectives include. اول مثال عندنا هو increasing the capacity of the emergency room by 20% and reducing the average patient waiting time by 50% through a renovation and process improvement project to be completed within 12 months and within budget of $400,000. ده المثال الأول على ازاي البروجكت اوبجكتيف بيتكتب. المثال الثاني reducing accounts receivable by $20 million through the implementation of a new billing, collection, and receivables system by May 31 with a budget not exceeding $220,000. المثال الثالث هو raising $40,000 for hunger relief by organizing a community festival during the last weekend of September with a budget of $3,000. دي الأمثلة اللي موجودة عندنا كأمثلة للبروجكت اوبجكتيفز، وهنقول بعض الأمثلة الأخرى. أول مثال عندنا هو doubling annual sales revenue by establishing an online shopping and fulfillment capability by April 30 with the budget not exceeding $40,000. المثال اللي بعده expanding market share by 3% through the introduction of a new handheld food preparation device within 10 months with a budget of $2 million. نقول مثال كمان increasing August sales revenue by 10% compared with the previous August by producing and distributing a back to school catalog by July 15 with a budget not exceeding $40,000. مثال اللي بعده complying with new environmental regulatory requirements by installing a new filtration system within 15 months with a budget of $3.2 million. مثال آخر إضافة من عندي obtaining information about consumer preferences by conducting a consumer market research study to be completed within 26 weeks with a budget of $40,000. بعد ما شفنا البروجكت اوبجكتيفز وامثله عليها كثيره، هنتكلم عن تعريف البروجكت سكوب. البروجكت سكوب defines the work that must be performed. البروجكت سكوب statement اللي بتتكتب includes many of the elements found in the project charter, the request for proposal RFP, or the contractor's proposal, but it provides them in greater details. This document, اللي هو البروجكت سكوب document, is valuable because it establishes a shared understanding among project stakeholders regarding the scope of the project. Defining the project scope. Project scope document. أولا البروجكت سكوب statement أو document typically contains the following sections. فيها مجموعة من الأجزاء. أول جزء هو ال customer requirements، وتاني جزء statement of work deliverables. هنشرح كل واحدة بعديها تباعا. work breakdown structure scope baseline and change control. تعالوا نتكلم على كل واحدة كده in details. customer requirements دي أول item أو أول section موجود في البروجكت سكوب. customer requirements specify the functional requirements or performance specifications for the final product and or project deliverables. They should also include or reference the technical specifications, standards, and applicable codes that must be used and satisfied with respect to the quality and performance of the project work and deliverables. ده customer requirements. Statement of work الاختصار بتاع SOW. Statement of work identifies the major tasks or work elements that must be performed to accomplish the required work and produce all project deliverables. العنصر الثالث أو section الثالث deliverables are the products or outputs that the project team or contractor will produce and provide to the client during the project and upon its completion. The acceptance criteria for all project deliverables should be described in greater detail than those stated in the project charter or request for proposal. السكشن الثالث هو work breakdown structure. The work breakdown structure is a hierarchical decomposition of the project scope of work into work packages that produce the project deliverables. السكوب بتاع البروجكت او السكوب بنسميه سكوب بيز لاين، وممكن يحصل عليه تشينج وازاي بنعمل تشينج كنترول. The agreed upon project scope statement establishes the baseline for any scope changes that may occur during a project excursion. A change control system should be established to define how changes will be documented, approved, and communicated. The project team or contractor must avoid scope creep, which occurs when changes to the project scope are made informally without proper approval. نتكلم بقى عن الكواليتي بلان. الكواليتي بلان أو الكواليتي planning is an essential function in a project. However, it's often overlooked or neglected. It's necessary to have quality plan to ensure the quality of the project deliverables and outcomes rather than waiting until the end of the project to determine whether the sponsors or clients' requirements and expectations have been met. Planning for quality during project excursion helps ensure that the work is performed in accordance with the applicable specifications and the standards, and that the deliverables meet the defined acceptance criteria. A project quality plan includes or refers to the following. أول حاجة project specifications and standards. Industry or government standards بين قوسين for design, testing, safety, construction. etc الى اخره. نمبر 3 بالنسبه ل project quality plan لازم تحتوي على او refer للcodes and regulations that must be used and complied with during the performance of project work. رابع حاجة documented procedures for using various quality tools and techniques. key aspects of quality control هو monitor the quality of work early and regularly throughout project execution. Compare results with established quality standards. Take corrective actions immediately when necessary, rather than waiting until all work is completed before conducting inspections or quality checks. To ensure that the project is performed correctly the first time, the project team must focus on performing the work according to quality standards, thereby preventing quality problems rather than correcting them later. الجزئية الخاصة بتاعة developing the work breakdown structure دي نقطة مهمة جدا، وهنشوف ازاي بتترسم وشكلها عبارة عن ايه. اولا بيتم once the project scope statement has been agreed upon and prepared. فالخطوة التالية هو في عملية التخطيط او مرحلة التخطيط هو develop work breakdown structure. نتكلم عنها اكتر. الwork breakdown structure هي عبارة عن is a deliverable oriented hierarchical decomposition of the project scope of work into work packages or groups of actions or groups of activities that produce the project deliverables. عملية developing a work breakdown structure provides a systematic approach for organizing all project work and deliverables into logical groups. This helps break down deliverables into more manageable components called work elements, ensuring that all tasks required to complete the project are identified and included in the baseline project plan. Work breakdown structure should be decomposed to a level that identifies individual work packages for each specific deliverable listed in the project scope statement. Breaking the project into work packages and work elements increases confidence that all activities required to produce each deliverable can be identified. The types and the quantities of resources required can be determined. Activity durations and associated costs can be reasonably estimated. Work items should be broken down to a level where one organizational unit زي مثلا الماركتينج communications materials engineering human resources or a subcontractor or one individual can be assigned responsibility and accountability for completing the work package. The work breakdown structure can be presented بشكل من اتنين: a graphical chart format or as hierarchical list. الشارت اهي قدامنا الجرافيكال شارت بالشكل ده. بالتفصيل هي طبعا بتقسم الى مجموعه من الليفلز. ده الليفل 0 ليفل خاص بالمشروع، بعد كده الليفل الاولاني، الليفل الثاني، الليفل الثالث. الرسمه التفصيليه بتاعت الكلام ده الجرافيك تشارت، وده الايدنتشر ليست اللي احنا بنقول عليها. دي طريقتين مختلفتين لتمثيل الورك بريك داون ستراكشر. هنجد ان التوب فيجر illustrates the work breakdown structure for an example consumer market research project لأحد الأمثلة. البوتوم فيجر ده عبارة عن list format of the work breakdown structure for each work package and the associated deliverable is listed. بيبقى مكتوب هو ايه الحاجة اللي احنا هنعملها deliver deliverables بتاع كل work package المخرجات بتاعتها. This list format is particularly useful for large project where a graphical diagram can become too large and impractical to use. يعني دي الحالة اللي بنستخدم فيها شكل التيبل. نخش بعد كده على حاجة اسمها assignment of responsibility أو assign responsibility. The responsibility assignment matrix RAM اللي قدامنا دي identifies who is accountable for each task. It's a tool used to designate individuals responsible for completing specific work elements within the work breakdown structure. The figure illustrates responsibility assignment matrix for the work breakdown structure shown in fig اللي قدامنا ده. Representing the community festival project. The matrix often matrix دي في الغالب uses P to indicate primary responsibility and S to denote supporting responsibility for a particular work element. The responsibility assignment matrix displays all زي ما احنا شايفين كده individuals associated with each work breakdown structure element as well as all work elements linked to each individual في الأعمدة هنا كده والصفوف. Only a single individual should be assigned as the lead or primary responsible person for each work element. دلوقتي جه دورنا على تعريف الاكتيفيتي ديفينيشن، ان احنا نعرف الاكتيفيتي باستخدام الورك بريك داون ستراكشر WBS. The individual or team responsible for each work package must identify all specific activities required to produce the final deliverable, decomposing each work package into its constituent activities reveals the level at which each activity must be performed to achieve the deliverable. Some activities may not be easily identifiable initially. Once all specific activities for all work packages are determined, they should be consolidated into a comprehensive activity list. Due to resource allocation, there may be waiting periods between the completion of one activity and the start of another. The figure illustrates الرسمة اللي قدامنا دي illustrates the work breakdown structure for a consumer market study project showing the specific activities الأنشطة that must be performed for each work package. Activity sequencing أو sequence activities. The network diagram determines the sequence in which activities are performed. It's a tool for arranging specific activities in the optimal order and identify their dependent relationships. The three most commonly used network planning techniques are Project Evaluation and Review Technique BERT, Critical Path Method CPM, and Precedence Diagramming Method BGM. Historically, BERT and CPM had distinct methodological differences. Today, however, when most people refer to CPM or BERT diagram, they generally mean a generic network diagram. الرسمة اللي فوق دي, the top figure illustrates a complete network diagram for a consumer market study project, including the individual responsible for each activity within the diagram. The bottom figure shows a network diagram for a web-based reporting system project. يعني ده خاص بسيستم وده خاص بسيستم آخر أو بروجكت آخر. Network principles. هنقول بعض القواعد الخاصة برسم الشبكة. Each activity is represented by a box in the network diagram, with the activity description written inside the box as illustrated in the figure. Activities consume time. and their descriptions typically begin with an action verb. obtain, wash, dry، زي ما موجود في هذا المثال. Activities have dependency relationships. That is, they are linked in a logical sequence within the network diagram to indicate which activities must be completed before others can begin. Some activities must be performed in a sequential order, while others may be performed concurrently. يعني يتموا في نفس الوقت زي الاتنين دول. في عندنا ممكن تحصل مشكلة بالنسبة للنتورك، هي حاجة اسمها اللوبس أو اللوبينج. هي عبارة عن non-logical relationship أو illogical relationship between activities بتسمى اللوب. When preparing a network diagram, activities forming a loop are not allowed as they represent a path in which activities would repeat indefinitely. يعني ما ينفعش ان يكون في لوب داخل النتورك. في خاصية تانية اسمها ladders او laddering. Some projects include a set of activities that are repeated multiple times. The top figure illustrates a sequence of activities performed in a strictly sequential order. خلص واحد نخش على التاني، على اللي بعده، خلص واحد نخش على اللي بعده. Meaning that for an activity requiring 3 individuals, only one person works at a time, while the other 2 wait. الرسمة اللي في النص دي the middle figure shows a set of activities that could be performed concurrently. يتموا في نفس الوقت، في تزامن بينهم في نفس الوقت. However, this is often impractical because the organization would need 3 times as many experts, one for each task. بالنسبة للرسمة الأخيرة أو البوتوم figure illustrates a technique known as the ladder، السلم. This approach allows the project to be completed in the shortest possible time while making optimal use of available resources. ازاي بقى نعمل creation للنتورك diagram؟ النتورك diagram هي عبارة عن graphical representation of project activities displayed in boxes according to their logical sequence and connected by arrows to indicate dependency relationships. The network diagram illustrates how the project will be executed from start to finish. ده عبارة عن example أو information system development planning. ازاي بنعمل له planning للinformation system؟ هو عبارة عن computer based system that accepts data as input, processing the data and produces useful information for users. الانفورميشن سيستم او الانفورميشن سيستمز عموما include computerized orders, computerized order entry systems, e-commerce platforms, automated teller machines ATMs, billing systems, payroll systems and inventory management systems. طبعا الكلام ده كأمثلة على هذا النظام. Developing an information system is a complex process that requires intensive planning and control to ensure the system meets user requirements and is completed on time and within budget. ازاي بقى بنعمل او بننشئ النتورك دايجرام؟ النتورك دايجرام هي عبارة عن graphical representation of project activities displayed in boxes according to their logical sequence and connected by arrows to indicate dependency relationships. The network diagram illustrates how the project will be executed from start to finish. في عندنا 3 key questions must be addressed for each activity. ايه هما؟ واحنا بنجاوب عليهم as the network is based on their answers، لأن النتورك مبنية على الإجابات بتاعتها. السؤال الأولاني which activities must be completed immediately before this activity can be started. السؤال الثاني which activities can be performed concurrently with this activity. السؤال الثالث which activities can't start until this activity is completed. الجايدلاينز الخاصة بالديتيل ليفل in a network diagram based on the project's work breakdown structure WBS. Specific activities must be identified for each work package. تاني نقطة، تاني جايدلاين، احنا بنقول الجايدلاينز اللي بتحدد لنا المستوى بتاع التفاصيل الخاصة بالنتورك دايجرام. It may be preferable to initially draw a summary level network that visualizes a small number of high level activities and later expand it into a more detailed network. Number 3, the level of detail can be determined by clear interfaces or handoff points, such as a change in responsibility, the production of a tangible deliverable, or the output of a specific activity. النقطة الرابعة estimated activity durations shouldn't exceed the period between project progress reviews. It's common to develop the network diagram gradually as the project progresses and more information becomes available. وأخيرا sub-networks can be used to represent similar projects for different clients. Certain parts of projects may include the same types of activities in the same sequence and with identical dependency relationships. وهنا بيرجع لنا المثال الخاص ب Information System Development Planning، وبيوضح ايه المراحل بتاعته او اللايف سايكل بتاعته، مكونة من مجموعة من الستيبس. اول ستيب هي خاصة ب البروبلم ديفينيشن، سيستم اناليسيز، سيستم ديزاين، سيستم ديفلوبمنت، سيستم تيستنج، سيستم امبلمنتيشن، ودي خاصة بالانفورميشن سيستمز ديفلوبمنت فقط كعملية. عبارة كمثال للانفورميشن سيستم اكزامبل انترنت applications development for ABC office designs. في شركة اسمها، المثال ده بيقول ان في شركة اسمها ABC office designs has a large number of sales representatives who sell office furniture to major corporations. Each sales representative is assigned to a specific state, and each state belongs to one of 4 regions in country. To enable management to monitor the number and the value of sales for each representative, each state and each region, ABC decided to develop a web-based information system that tracks pricing, inventory and competition. نكمل المثال. هنا بدأ يعرف في الأول في السلايد الماضية عرف الشركة وهي عايزة تعمل ايه، وبالتالي قلنا في الآخر انها هتعمل ايه، هتعمل ديفلوبمنت ل ويب بيزد انفورميشن سيستم اللي تقدر تعمل فيه تراكنج للبرايسنج والانفنتوري والكومبيتيشن. اللي هنا تفاصيل أكتر عن المشروع، التفاصيل بتاعته. Company's Information System Department assigned Beth Smith as the project manager for the development of the web-based reporting system. The following 4 slides اللي جاية بعد كده إن شاء الله توضح لنا the diagrams related to this project. أول حاجة عندنا هنا key project tasks. إيه هي؟ First, we review the main tasks identified for the project. تاني حاجة responsibility assignment matrix. كل الكلام ده هنشوفه في رسومات جاية بعد كده. Responsibility assignment matrix RAM. Next, we examine the RAM for the project, showing the primary and secondary responsibilities assigned for each task. Number 3, task list with direct predecessors. Then we look at a comprehensive list of all tasks to be performed, with each task's direct predecessor lists to its right. أخيرا, number 4, network diagram. Finally, we examine the network diagram created by Beth and the project team, representing the interrelationships indicated in the direct predecessor list. الرسمة اللي قدامنا دي احنا قلنا هنشوف كل الرسومات اللي معانا. This figure illustrates the key tasks identified for the project. The work breakdown structure follows the system's development life cycle SDLC. ده الورك بريك داون ستراكشر بتاع المشروع اللي هو المثال بتاعنا. تاني حاجة عندنا هي الرسمة دي illustrates the key responsibility assignment matrix. Here we see the project's responsibility assignment matrix showing the primary and secondary responsibilities for each specific task. انتوا طبعا should note that in all tasks in the work breakdown structure are represented in the responsibility assignment matrix. كل التاسكس موجودة في responsibility assignment matrix، يعني موجودة هنا وهنا في الwork breakdown structure وفي responsibility assignment matrix. اللي قدامنا دي عبارة عن task list and predecessors. This figure shows a list of all tasks that must be completed, with each task's direct predecessor listed to its right. ده البريديسيسور بتاع كل task. انت طبعا should examine the interrelationships between tasks. تشوف العلاقة ما بين الأنشطة وبعضها. الرسمة اللي قدامنا دي أخيرا، وهو ده الأوتبوت بتاع هذا الشابتر، النتورك دياجرام. هو ده المطلوب رسمه من خلال طبعا الليست اللي شفناها من شوية في الجدول السابق. The following shows the network diagram created by Beth and the project team. This diagram represents the dependencies indicated in the direct predecessor task list اللي شفناه في السلايد السابق. طيب نخش بعد كده على information system، مقصود بيها الباكجز اللي ممكن تستخدم في إدارة المشروعات. أولا اختصارها BMIS، وفي variety of affordable project management information systems متاحة ان انت تشتريها، واشهرهم طبعا على الاطلاق بريمافيرا ومايكروسوفت بروجكت، وبتقوم بمهام عديدة جدا. These systems enable the project manager and project team to plan and control projects in a fully interactive environment. Within a project management information system, planning and testing different scenarios for task durations, dependencies, constraints, resources, schedules, and cost can be performed efficiently. كل ده موجود داخل الباكج أو السيستم ده. Information systems assist project managers in generating reports, managing changes, creating network diagrams, and producing Gantt chart. الباكج بتعمل الكلام ده كله. Project management information systems also integrate with other software applications. يعني ممكن يحصل تكامل بينها وبين برامج أخرى، تطبيقات أخرى. في نهاية هذه المحاضرة دايما بنقول إيه هي الكريتيكال سكسس فاكتورز بالنسبة لهذا الشابتر. أول حاجة عندنا هي plan the work then execute the plan. من المهم جدا إن إحنا develop a plan before beginning project execution, taking the time to create a will for the successful completion of any project. الفاكتور الثاني participation fosters commitment. By involving individuals in planning the work, they become committed to completing according a project must have a clear objective, defining what is to be achieved. The objective should be specified in terms of the final product or deliverable, schedule, and budget, and must be agreed upon by both the client and the project team responsible for execution. الحاجة اللي بعد كده هي ان ال project scope document is valuable for establishing a shared understanding and agreement among project stakeholders regarding the project scope. استكمالا لهذه السلسلة كمان في مجموعة أخرى من الفاكتورز هي having a quality plan at the start of the project helps prevent additional costs and schedule delays caused by rework resulting from work or deliverables and customer expectations. The key to quality control is to monitor the quality of work early rather than waiting until all work is completed before checking or inspecting for quality. واخيرا بالنسبه للcritical success factors هي ان the network diagram also serves as a communication tool for the project team as it illustrates who is responsible for each activity and how each individual's work fits into the project as a whole. ملخص بقى لهذا الشابتر. Summary: the planning process is based on the project objectives which defines what is to be achieved. The planning process مبنية على ال project objectives which defines what is to be achieved. كمان the project scope specifies what work must be performed, includes client deliverables, acceptance criteria, and the organizational structure of the work. In the quality plan should include or refer to applicable industry or government specifications and standards, as well as codes that must be used and complied with during project execution. The work breakdown structure provides a framework for how the work will be carried out to produce the project outputs. And finally في السمري عندنا ال responsibility assignment matrix identifies who will be responsible for each task, where the activities define in more detail how the work will be performed, when the network diagram determines the sequence and timing of activity execution, when the project planning is a critical activity in information systems development, وإن the project management planning tool or methodology اللي معروفة باسم systems development life cycle is often used to assist in planning, executing and controlling information system development projects. واخيرا بقى عندنا ان a variety of project management، ودي انصحكم ان انتوا تتعلموا واحده منهم، البريمافيرا، مايكروسوفت بروجكت الى اخره، وفي برامج كتيره اخرى are available to help project managers plan, monitor and control projects in a fully interactive manner. حسن الاستماع والانصات لنهاية هذا الفيديو، ولو في اي اسئلة انا برحب بيها في اي وقت، ابعتولي على اي منصة بنتعامل من خلالها. واستودعكم الله الذي لا تضيع ودائعه. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.